Video is to show you how to use Desmos. Desmos is a free graphing utility, and let's begin. So you go to www.desmos.com and you want to click on Start Graphing. The first thing I like to do is sign in. I like to sign in using my Google account. And this is a good thing to do because then it will save what you're doing. And then later you can go and you can open up anything you want. So for example, here's a graph that I made previously. I can now open it. Okay. But I'm going to begin with a brand new blank graph. And I'm going to come up here to where it says untitled graph. I'm going to click on it. And I want to create a brand new graph. I'm going to call it Algebra 1. I always like to put the class. And then INV. Let's say this is investigation 5.3. And this is for period 5. I hit save. Now it's saved. Now anything I do is going to be saved here. A couple of things. So over here on the left-hand side, this is the panel. This is where you're going to input information. You can close the panel, open the panel. This is the graph. This is where you're going to see the points you plot, the equations that you graph. Over here, we have the settings, and I'll show you more about settings in a bit. This is where you can set your window, add labels. This is where you can zoom in and out. So you can do that using these buttons, or you can also zoom in and out using your mouse or your trackpad. I'm using a trackpad. 2 fingers up, zooms in. 2 fingers down, zooms out. Okay, let's begin with some workflow issues. I like to create folders. So I'm going to call this one data. And this is where I'm going to put things like points. Let's say I want to plot the point 0, 0, and I want it to show the label. I want to plot the point of 10, 5. Again, I want it to show the label. There they are, my 2 points with labels shown. I can turn points on and off by clicking the circle. I could also change colors by clicking and holding. I'm going to change this to orange. I'm going to also change this to orange. The other thing I can do, again, click and hold. I can choose to make it an open dot or an X. I'm going to make it an open dot. Both of these open dots. There they are. I made changes. I'm going to save. Now I'm going to close this, and notice that only one of the points is in the folder, the one that has this line. So in order to put something in or take something out of the folder, you want to grab it. I went up and it automatically will show this line. Now I know that both items are in that folder. Okay, now I'm going to add a table. This is a quick way of adding points. And let's say that these are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I want these also to be orange. And when I make a table, I have some options here. If I click and hold, you can see that I can have the points connected or points with the connected. Okay, I'm going to choose that. Now I'm going to again put this in this data folder. And so now all of those points are in my folder called data. And the cool thing about folders is that now I can turn everything in the folder on or off with one click. Okay, I'm going to make another folder. I'm going to call this folder equations. In this folder, I'm going to put the equation y equals 0 plus 1x. Okay, there it is. If I click and hold, again, I can change colors. I can make it dashed. I can make it dotted. I'm going to make it dashed. I can put another equation in. Y equals, I don't know, x plus 2. There it is. And I'm going to make it green. I'm going to make it dashed. Now, one more thing about the folders. Right now, I only have one of those equations in the folders. I want to put both in. So I'm going to grab this one and just go up a little, and you can see the line here. So now I see that they're both in there. I can turn them on and off with one click. Now, equations. In order to differentiate between different equations, you could also do this. You can add subscripts, and now I know which is equation 1 and which is equation 2. Now, the other cool thing is that I can also make equations that are in function format. So I could say f of x equals x minus 1. If I'm going to have another equation, again, to differentiate between the two, I can put numbers here, like f1 of x, f2 of x. Let me make sure that these are in the folder. And one of the reasons I like to use function notation is that now I can do something like this. Okay, I can say, what is f1 of 5? And it will tell me. Down here, it shows me what it is. So it's a very convenient way of working with functions. Now, I showed you how to make folders, how to plot points, how to make tables, how to make equations. Another cool feature, let me make one more kind of equation. Let's make a vertical line. Let's say I called it x equals 2. You see my vertical line there. I'll make it red. And it will always show you a slider down here. You can see as I move the slider, the line moves, the equation changes. But a cool thing is this. If I click here, I can set where the minimum and the maximum are. And I can also set the step. So now when I do this, I'm going to go from -5 to 20 by ones. So let's say that now I wanted to find out what the intersection point is right here. If I just click on it, notice that there's my intersection point. There's my intersection point, intersection point, intersection point. Again, I've made changes. I'm going to hit save. I can add images, notes, I can do all kinds of things. Now, I tend to open it up like this so I can see the entire graph. But if you need to see both the graph and the data or the graph and the equations, you can open it up like this. Now, one of the things my students do is they use something called Clipular. It's another app and extension because a lot of the work we do on the Chromebooks is with something called formative, and often I'll ask them for a graph or a table. And so what they can do with this app called Clipular is they can actually, let me make sure I'm signed in. Got to make sure I'm signed in. I'm going to connect with Google. Okay, so now I'm signed in. The shortcut is hit the Alt. You hit Alt. And now what this allows me to do is it allows me to take clips. So I need to turn this graph in. I'm going to do a screen capture like this. You can hear the little camera sound. You can see that something's going on here. Okay, it's ready. I click on it and it shows me the graph. And then right here, there's this download button, and it downloads it to my downloads folder. So I'm going to click show in folder so you can see what I mean. So here's my graph. So now when I ask for it in one of the other programs like Formative, my students are able to send me this clip so I can see their graphs. So that's a whole other episode. For now, I just wanted to make sure I showed that since I had a graph up already. Okay, so as a reminder here, the three, they call it the pancakes here. If you click on these pancakes, these are all the graphs that I have saved over the year, and I have access to these at any point. My students have gotten into the habit of saving their graphs so they can go back and open them, and so they don't have to start from scratch every time. Desmos has examples, and there are tons of examples in here. It has a really good help section. So check it out.